morning. I hope you can hear me. I'm outside, right? I wanted to just pop on. It's been a couple of days. Hope everybody is well. My name is Lurie Daniel Favors. I am the executive director of a social justice law center and the host of the Lurie Daniel Favors show on SiriusXM's Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action, channel 126, and host of the Lurie Breaks It Down podcast, which you can get everywhere that you get your podcast. I'm just popping on today quickly. I don't even know if anybody's going to hear this or see this, but I'm popping on quickly today because I wanted to talk about two quick things, right? I'm going to do more of an explainer of this on Monday, but I'm already seeing a lot of concerning content, commentary about what happened last night with Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson's order regarding the SNAP benefits. So I'm going to do, like I said, a more extensive video. Hopefully I'm not going to get hit by a wave in my back because the ocean is like right there. It's amazing. You'll see. It's gorgeous. But just really quickly, wanted to explain Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson's decision because that sister's already getting dragged, and like I need people to actually read and pay attention before we get to dragging, okay? So the first thing with Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson's order, the way that, first I wanted to say this was procedural. Basically, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson issued an administrative stay, which is a type of a pause on a case that says we got to pause this case until a couple of other things get decided, and then we're going to get right back to the case. That's different than a stay pending appeal. And a stay pending appeal is a type of stay that says, we're going to pause this case until we figure out all this shit. We got a whole ass trial we're going to go through. We got witnesses we got to call. We have depositions that have to be taken. There are trial dates and hearing dates and interviews and interrogatories that have to be exchanged. So this is going to be a much longer pause, right? That's a stay pending appeal. I'm doing really loose language. I know my lawyers out there is like, well, that's technically, y'all shut up. Like, listen, I'm just trying to make it plain for the people, right? Everybody didn't go get a legalese degree. So what happened is the way that this case came up to the Supreme Court, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson had two choices, none of which were good. The first choice was to, because of the way it came up, there's this rule where basically if it comes up through this particular procedure, the circuit judge of that circuit gets to make a decision, or the entire body of the Supreme Court will get to weigh in. Again, I'm simplifying because I'm really trying to get in the ocean water, but I'm tired of people dragging her already. She basically, because she's the circuit justice for the circuit where this particular decision came up. Can y'all hear me? I just realized I don't even know if y'all can hear me. Y'all put a heart or something if you can actually hear. My voice is going out as well, so I don't know if y'all, I'm assuming y'all can hear me because y'all still in here. Yes, you can hear me. Okay, good, because this wind is winded. Because she's a circuit justice for that, she's a justice for that particular circuit, she could either do this short-term administrative stay, which is going to say, all right, listen, there's a couple of highly sensitive, time-sensitive things that the lower court needs to rule on, and I'm going to give you this brief little mini pause, this administrative stay, because if I don't do that, then these motherfuckers on the full court are going to be like, nope, stay pending appeal. This is going to be the longest pause ever. So it was either do this little short pause that was going to allow the court beneath the Supreme Court to decide some of the things it needs to decide, and hopefully that decision will add enough pressure that the motherfucking conservative justices on the Supreme Court would not be able to overdo. So it is a strategical decision, and it's a strategic decision, and it's one that frankly was the best of terrible, awful choices. And the reason she's in a position where she has to do the best of terrible, awful choices is because this administration, as they told us in Project 2025, has not wanted SNAP benefits, does not want WIC benefits, and has used every procedural and manipulative tool that they can in order to end people's ability to get access to these resources. So I just wanted to put that out there. This is not KBJ coming up underneath the influence of the conservative white. No, this sister was basically like, I'm gonna allow this thing to happen. I know people are gonna drag me in these streets because motherfuckers don't read, and so she's gonna now have to rely on those of us who can explain this in different ways, so that people understand that she was not trying to end SNAP. She was trying to use whatever procedural tools that were available to her to stop the bitches on the Supreme Court who would like to stop SNAP from being able to get a chance to do that. So I just want to put that out there. Now, one other thing I want to talk about. So y'all know I'm at this conference, and I'll tell y'all which conference it was once I go home. But basically, your man Zohran was here, as was, most of New York City, New York State, definitely. But basically, I saw news that Zohran Mamdani's campaign, they are now in transition mode. And as a part of their transition mode, they are launching this effort that basically takes all the tens of thousands of people who were a part of his canvassing and his outreach and turning them into organizers. organizers. He's basically taking the canvassers who were going door to door and knocking on people's doors and asking them to like come out and vote for Zohran, and now going to train them on how to be organizers, like for real, organizers around issues, organizers around campaign efforts. Because here's the thing, now that he's in office, a lot of the stuff that he needs to get done is going to require cooperation at the state level. This is one of the reasons why a lot of old heads was like, well, he ain't gonna be able to do everything that he says he's gonna do. That's true if motherfuckers don't show up. But he is basically now turning or creating a pathway, kind of like y'all remember how when President Barack Obama had all the millions of people who were fighting for him and organizing for him, and then afterwards they kind of just didn't have no direction, nowhere to go, nothing to really do with it. The Organizing for America was kind of good, but it really wasn't. And so when the Tea Party came up, there was no organized group of people to basically push back on all the bullshit of the Tea Party, which was just, MAGA's granddaddies, MAGA's mommies and daddies. There was no organizing body that could push back against what the Tea Party was doing. And the Tea Party was so effective that they were basically able to hamstring Obama and undercut his entire agenda. There were a lot of people who had issues with that. Rahm Emanuel was a part of that shit. David Axelrod was a part of that shit. We all know it. I'm not naming names that y'all don't already know. But the reason I'm so excited about what Zohran is doing is because this brother is basically saying, yeah, we saw what happened there. That was not good. That was not good. We're not going to do that. And so he's creating a pathway now. First of all, he opened up his resume portal. So those of you who want jobs in the administration, get your resumes together, get your cover letters together, ask somebody to help you figure that shit out so we can get really good people into these positions and you're not blocked from being in them simply because you didn't know how to format a resume. Get that shit together. So the resume portal is open. You can find it on his campaign. I'm part of his campaign, so you're gonna have to Google it. But I rocks with him right now. I rocks with him hard. But he's basically taking his organizing team, his canvassers, and he's essentially creating an organizing school effort community. And shout out to the Working Families Party. I know he's a part of the DSA, but it's the Working Families Party line that people were voting down. Shout out to the Working Families Party, the only third party in my opinion that actually works. That's just me because I love the Working Families Party. But this is amazing, this effort that Zohran is engaging in, because here's the thing. Now that he's in office, the other things that he is going to need other forms of support for, that has to come with pressure. Like Governor Kathy Hochul, she might want to, I don't know, she may want to align with him in terms of raising taxes, because right now New York's billionaires pay taxes that are lower than what they pay in New Jersey, what they pay in Connecticut. So Zohran's like, well, we can just get them, get those tax rates, and then we'll be fine. We can pay for everything that we need if we were to elevate the tax levels that the wealthy people are paying. Now, obviously, wealthy people don't want to do that, and so right now, the Bill Aikmans, the Michael Bloombergs, the billionaires who pour hundreds of millions of dollars into this campaign, they're not just going to go sneak off into the night. They are still going to be burning their money, pouring it into blocking Zohran. And if you think Andrew Cuomo, we've heard the last of him, baby, you don't know Andrew Cuomo. So we're basically in a situation right now where the people power is going to have to matter so significantly. So by creating this organizing school and converting his already excited canvassers into organizers, that will help to create the conditions on the ground that will pressure the assembly members at the state level, that will pressure the state senators to basically fall in line and advocate to tax the motherfucking rich. Tax them motherfuckers, they can afford it. And so they just got a big ass tax break. They can be taxed higher at the state level. And so this is basically now going to create a situation where the pressure on the ground, the people pressure that we're often missing, because a lot of times we go vote, we get somebody in office, and then they don't come talk to us no more, and we don't go talk to them no more. And I told my audience this week, I reminded them about that elected official who told me that, listen, I know I got elected on the strength of the black vote, but the strength of the black vote couldn't keep me in office, because the day after I got inaugurated, it was white people coming to my office who did not vote for me, who did not want me in that position, and they basically were able to pressure me because they showed up at my office, they made appointments, they made follow-up appointments, they had agenda items, they had checklists, they got a hold of my public schedule, which everybody can do. Everywhere I went publicly to speak, there they was at, advocating for their position. So even though they came in on the black vote, they weren't able to be retained on the black vote because the black voters did not have the understanding about what the civic tools of engagement after elections look like. Zohran is cutting that shit down. He's making sure that people understand, no, this is not like a one-day thing. Yeah, you voted and that's great, you canvassed, that's wonderful, but now you got to create the conditions on the ground that are going to allow every elected official to be required to follow through with the agenda items. I think this is amazing. That was a breeze on my back, of a breeze and a lot of water. I gotta go, the beach is calling. This is basically Zohran saying, listen, I've promised things and I'm going to need you to help me get those things done. Which the other thing I love about that is, especially for black people, from 1619 until 1964, we could be killed for trying to have these conversations, right? Like there was not like a situation where we were going to be able to discuss civic engagement and politics and how we take power without like getting lynched or facing lynchings and murders and all sorts of terrible things. So for us, the experiential knowledge that you need in order to be effective and successful in civic engagement, we lacked a lot of that. And so for us, like registering to vote, like more water on my back. Like Medgar Wiley Evers was assassinated in his driveway just for registering people to vote. Just for registering people to vote. So we have collectively as black people, despite every effort, all the civil rights movement, all the organizing, we still don't have the 345 years of civic engagement experience that our white counterparts have. And while we had to sneak out into the woods at night to like figure out how to follow the North Star and teach our kids how to read and decide how we were going to claim power, our white counterparts were meeting in well-lit rooms where black people were serving them food and they could have debates and discussions about like, well, who are we going to run? What's a bench look like? How do we build a party? How do we fundraise? How do we get money from that we raise for this to be actually used for that? So they have 345 years of a head start in terms of the experiential knowledge in a system that they fucking created, that they blocked us from gaining access to, all about how to distribute power. So the fact that Zohran is doing this, chef's motherfucking kiss. Chef's motherfucking kiss. It's amazing. It is phenomenal, and it gives my old ass heart a lot of love and joy. I'm just very excited. Yeah, so that's just what I want to say. I'm now getting soaked from the ocean from behind, because there's the ocean right there. I'm going to go find a sandy part of the ocean, and I will be back live on Monday, assuming I am able to fly back in, because your stupid ass president also has shut down the airports, and people all over the place is like, my flight is canceled, but I'm praying that the Lord gonna be a way maker. All right, I love y'all. I gotta go. But I hope this made sense. Stay off my girl, KBJ. I know she ain't perfect. I know she's a part of a bullshit ass institution, but Ketanji Brown Jackson, it did what needed to be done. And quite frankly, I'm really glad she did it, because otherwise these motherfuckers at the Supreme Court were going to basically be like, who snap? Where snap? What snap? We don't snap. We snap to attention when Trump calls, because if you read Project 2025, they've been wanting to get rid of SNAP. That was a part of their plan, and this is what they're doing. So I gotta go. Okay. All right, I gotta go. I hope you have a great day. Bye.